Just about every game I've played in virtual reality has made me think of other games I wanted to experience in VR. Until Dawn Rush of Blood made me think of Area 51. Arkham VR made me think of games like Myst and other point and click adventures. Eagle Flight made me want a Superman game. You get the picture. Loading Human doesn't really do that. This may sound weird, but this game actually makes me think of some real world technological implications. While in this world, you use some devices that made me wonder how cool it would be to have a virtual office, either through augmented reality or in virtual reality, where you can manipulate information in a 3D space, almost like Tony Stark's lab in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This game is really nothing special, but I can't help but think that may be because it had the misfortune of following Resident Evil 7 in my list of games to play in VR. Still, I saw it through to the end, and in its own way, it's a good way to showcase VR when you have friends over. For this review, I want to talk about story, gameplay, graphics, and immersion, and then at the end, I'll have some final thoughts. The story itself is fairly engaging, but not very action oriented. You play as Prometheus, a man who has been summoned to an Antarctic base by your father who is attempting to cheat death. And at 137 years old, he's been doing an okay job at that. But his time is running out, and even though it's slower than normal, death is still catching up to it. You're given a mission to find the Quintessence, a power source that will supposedly enable your father to live forever. That mission, however, doesn't even happen in this game. In Loading Human Chapter 1, you are preparing for that mission. And over the course of this game, you'll engage in some light banter back and forth with the base's artificial intelligence. You'll speak to your father a few times and get to know his assistant, Alice. All I can say about the story is that it truly feels like a chapter 1. All the promise lies in what's ahead. And even though this is not my favorite PSVR game, I do hope we get the following chapters. It feels like it could get much more fun as you carry out the mission. The controls take some getting used to. Developers are still trying to find new ways to control your movement in VR. Loading Human's control scheme can seem a bit convoluted at first, but you eventually get comfortable with it. I didn't try the DualShock control scheme because I had read that it was worse than using the Move controllers. Now, using the Move controllers, to crouch, you just point down and push the Move button. To stand back up, you point up and push the Move button. To turn left or right, you point in that direction and push the Move button. You can also turn 180 degrees really quickly if you point backwards over your shoulder and push the Move button. And to walk, you just point one of the motion controllers forward and you push the Move button and you walk. And as you walk, you can look around with the headset and you'll veer left or right depending on where you're looking. The puzzles in the game aren't very straightforward. It's like the game is designed to have you just wander around aimlessly, picking up every item you come across until you finally stumble upon the one that you need. Occasionally, the world will break down and you'll see everything in wireframe. And when this happens, you have to reconstruct the sequence by tying some events together. The game never mentions whether I was in real time or reliving these memories or what. Before each sequence, the game loads a date and a time, and then you play it out, so I assume that's what's happening here. The most exciting part of the game is when you're in the training simulations for your mission. The rest is a bit mundane. I guess when you get right down to it, I would have preferred a series of training simulations to all the things I actually had to do in this game. The graphics are just okay. They're a little grainy, but you don't need the best graphics if the world feels alive. And in Loading Human, the world is realistic enough that it gives you a feeling of presence. It's just that there's not a lot going on. The sound is well done, except for a few spots where background music drowns out Alice's voice as she's talking to you. And this game is great if you want to showcase VR by having someone put on the headset and walk around the station just messing with things. Pick up a bottle or a book, go brush your teeth or shave, or just marvel at the motion tracking as you look at yourself in the mirror. All of these things are fun to do if you're experiencing VR for the first time. I feel like I would have enjoyed this game more had it been one of my first VR experiences. As it stands, though, I've played enough now that I'm beginning to get past the novelty and look for genuinely fun things to do. Loading Human Chapter 1 isn't necessarily a bad game, it's just not going to be for everyone. I almost had more fun just dancing in front of the mirror than I did playing through the story. If you get the chance to pick it up for dirt cheap, go for it. Otherwise, I'd pass. There are too many other awesome experiences on PSVR. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you're having as much fun in virtual reality as I am.
Do it.